Hi everyone, welcome back to Edureka, instructor-led online training portal. And in our today's class, we are going to discuss about Selenium Grid and also the Selenium ID of the Selenium, which is a part of our Selenium. All right. So why we need this grid? What is the use of this grid, and how we configure the grid on our systems? So all these things we are going to discuss, along with which we are going to talk about the Selenium IDE. So as we already know, this IDE is nothing but the integrated development environment, which was the first flavor of Selenium, right? So this is going to be our agenda for today's class. Okay. So we have set the objectives according to our today's session. So after completing this module, we should be able to talk about the Selenium grid. We'll understand what Selenium grid is, how we set up the grid, and we are going to design the test scripts for your grid, right? And then we are going to understand the Selenium IDE, and also we are going to see what are the Celanese commands that are there when we work with your IDE. All right. So this Selenium IDE is a very, the first version of Selenium which was introduced, I must say. So it has its own development environment, and this is just a plugin which comes with your Mozilla Firefox browser. So let's start understanding one by one. First, we are going to learn about Selenium Grid, right? So here, your Selenium grid, if for example, when you have your framework, right, when you start working and when you set up a framework, so you might have to run your test cases on different machines. So let us consider a project. For example, say we are working on an e-commerce application, we are automating an e-commerce application, and we might have somewhere around 2000 to 3000 test script, right? So a very small application for that matter will have at least 1000 test cases, out of which we might pick up some 800 test cases as the regression test cases. So these test cases would be converted into scripts, right? So in that case, when you think about a big application, so obviously 2000 to 3000 test scripts is not a big deal. So executing all this 2000 to 3000 test cases on the system, on a single system, for say, is like, it takes a lot of time, right? In that case, what we do is we try to perform a parallel testing. So this parallel testing, as we have seen in the previous class, we will be able to do it in your TestNG as well, right? So apart from that, this is the best way of performing a parallel testing, because this helps you to run your scripts on multiple browsers, on multiple machines. Your TestNG supports parallel testing on that particular machine, but with different browsers, or the same multiple instance of the same browser. But your Selenium grid helps you to configure and run your scripts on different machines across the organization. So maybe you can run it in the remote system which is present in the different office location as well. So that is the main advantage of your Selenium grid. So this particular engineer, he's thinking about how to run all my test cases on different machines, but since it takes a lot of time to run the tests parallelly on all machines, is there a solution? So here they say Selenium grid will solve all your problem. Yes. How do we set up this grid? Why this grid? So this Selenium grid runs the test cases against different browsers, different operating systems and machines. For say I'm Bangalore office, okay, and I'll have to run my script somewhere in Delhi office, right? So what I just have to do is configure a node and just run all my scripts on that particular node. So we have this hub and node configuration. Hub is the one which is the driver, you can call it as a driver, and node is just a connection, like we say client and server connection, so the two-tier architecture. So that is how the Selenium grid works, right? So there is a server which is your hub, and there are multiple nodes connected to it. So using this particular hub IP address, you can connect to that node, you can connect the nodes, and triggering this test cases on that particular node will test your applications, or test the applications on multiple machines, and it will be tested in the short period, right? So it also saves time in executing your test tools, because you are dividing the test cases on multiple machines. For example, see on one machine you're going to run only 1 to 500 test cases. On another machine you might be performing this 501 to 1000. Likewise, you're going to split it across multiple machines, and you're going to reduce the time of execution since they run parallelly, right? So Selenium Grid is of course a part of your Selenium suite that specializes in running multiple test scripts on multiple browsers, multiple operating systems, your machines parallel, right? So as I told you, it consists of a hub and multiple nodes. So hub works as a central point controlling all the nodes, right? And the nodes are actually machines on which execution is performed. Okay, so as I told you, the example of your Bangalore and Delhi office, likewise Bangalore and Chennai, Bangalore and Hyderabad, Bangalore and US, wherever you want, right? So likewise, you can connect multiple nodes. So these are nothing but your computers, your systems, which you have, which be using. Even a hub is a system, right? When I say a server and a client, server is not something that we, which will be of a room size or something. It is just a computer which will act like the centralized point, which will be controlling. The only difference is that will have certain configurations when compared to the other client machines or the node machine, right? So that is how we are going to set it up. And how your Selenium Grid works. So you'll have this hub, as I told you. So this hub will have multiple nodes connected, right? For example, you can say there is a Firefox, or you're operating on Firefox using your Ubuntu server. On Windows, you're running it on IE server. On your Mac, you're running it on Safari. And on your Note 4 or some other machine like your Android, you're going to launch any browser and you're going to work, right? So, or you can work with two different browsers on a same platform. For example, say on your Node 1, it can be on Windows and Chrome. On Node 2 also, it can be Windows and Chrome, right? It doesn't matter. So it is not necessary that everything should be different. They can be the same. The only purpose of this is your parallel testing, along with which this is going to be your compatibility testing, right? On all the platforms and on different browsers. So this is going to be a compatibility test. So this is how your grid would work. All right. So here are the difference and a few points about your hub and node. So your hub is a central point where you load your test. Okay. So all your test cases would be loaded, and only one hub will be present in a grid. So this grid, as you say, it is just a structure wherein you'll have one hub and multiple nodes connected, right? The topology would be created in such way. So launched on a single machine, say you're going to use a computer, so you're going to launch your hub on a single machine. But when you talk about your node, so this node will be instances, right? It will have instances and it will have multiple machines. So you'll have one or more nodes which is connected to a hub, and you'll have Selenium instances that will execute the test on each and every machine. And this is particularly different computers across different regions where you'll have a different platforms, and multiple browsers can be used in order to work, right? So there are different versions of your Selenium Grid as well. So you have Selenium Grid 1.0 and Selenium Grid 2.0. So this Selenium Grid 1.0 had this Apache Ant installation was required. So this Ant is a build tool, okay, so which is used to build your dependencies. So when we talk about your Maven, we'll understand what was Ant as well, because Maven is also a build tool which is used for the same purpose, but an advanced version, I can say. So it was built on the idea of your Ant, but it is the advanced version. Your Ant is a little limited, okay? So your Selenium Grid basically needed this Ant. So what do you mean by dependencies? First of all is, so when you work with your Selenium, okay, when you start automating your scripts, you might have, we would have come across this downloading the jars from internet and adding it to our build path, as well as downloading these Chrome driver executables and adding it to our project, and then we set the system property and all, right? So instead of downloading it manually, so what we do is we either use this Ant or we either use this Maven, so which will download the dependencies by themselves based on a certain criteria. So there's something called as XML files which drives these and files, right? So I mean to say installations. So that is how we are going. These are known as your dependencies, your jar files, your driver executables. So all these things are known as your dependency. So this required that Ant installation, but your Selenium Grid 2.0 now does not require anything. And your Selenium Grid has its own remote control. So but your Selenium Grid 2 is now bundled with your Selenium server file, that is the jar file that we download, right? So it is now bundled within this itself. So your Selenium Grid 1.0 can support Selenium RC commands. So this RC, as we have seen, a flavor of Selenium, it is the remote control, right? So this was supporting your RC commands, but now your Selenium Grid 2.0 supports both your WebDriver as well as your RC scripts, right? So in your Selenium Grid 1.0, you can automate one browser per remote control, but here you can automate up to 5 browsers. So again, it's just an advanced version of your Selenium, improvisation of your Selenium 1.0, right? So with this, we are going to set up your Selenium Grid. So in order to set up your Selenium Grid, all you want is your Selenium standalone server jar that you'll have to download, right? We have already downloaded it. So what we are going to do is we are going to set it up. So let me open my command prompt. So just do a Windows R and type in the command as cmd. So you'll have to come out of all these controls, like all the directories that you are in. Just do a cd backslash. Okay, so when you do this cd backslash, what you're going to do is now you're going to type in a command in order to set up your grid. So how do you set up your grid? You need a Selenium standalone jar file. So here I'm going to write a command, java-jar, and what you have to do is when you have downloaded this Selenium jar, so let me take this Selenium jar. All I'll do is I will just drag and drop this. Okay, I'll just drag and drop this here. So after you drop this, what you have to say is hyphen, you have to provide a role for it. Okay, hyphen role, and just type in what role this is going to play. So I say java-jar and the Selenium standalone jar file that I have downloaded, hyphen role and hub, right? So let me enter. So can you see it is now saying launching Selenium Grid Hub. Selenium Grid Hub is up and running. So this is the message that you'll have to get when you have configured a hub on your system, right? So your hub is now ready, right? So what we have done, we have just configured. You can either create a folder on your C and D drive or wherever you want, and you can keep this jar file, and then you can give the path of it. So that is also possible, or just direct drag and drop would also work, right? So this is the command that you're going to write, java-jar Selenium standalone server.jar hyphen role and hub. So this will be setting up your your jar file, right? So now after this, what we are going to do is we are going to set up your node. So how do we set up your node? You have to go to another system. Okay, so in my case, I'm not going to set another system, but instead I'm going to use another command prompt, and I'll show you how it works. So your Selenium Grid Hub is now up and running. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open another command prompt. So here, one important thing that you'll have to notice is this node's registration URL. So it says node should register to HTTP 192.168.0.104.4444/grid/register. So this particular whatever IP address has been generated is very important for us. So let's copy it. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are again going to run this particular command prompt, open this command prompt, and we are going to run this. So how do we run this? So all we have to do is, let me keep it here. So all we have to do is come out again. Okay, and here I'm going to say java-jar. Okay, drag and drop the Selenium standalone server again. Okay, so you have dragged and dropped it. and then what you're going to do is you are going to set the role of it. So what do you say? Hyphen role, okay, and then what you're going to say, you're going to call it as a hub, sorry, node, right? So the hub we have already configured, and here we are going to call it as a hub. Now you have to give your hub, right? So here is your hub path. Hub is whatever we have copied, right? So we have copied something. Where did it go? Here it is. So this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste it, we give the path of this complete file. So let me paste it here. So /hub, yes, it has registered. So this is the path that I'll have to give. Now type enter. Now it is going to create a Selenium node. So can you see here, the node is registered to the hub and it is ready to use. So this is how we are going to start working with your hub and your node, right? So this now acts like a hub. Your one command prompt is acting like a hub and the other command prompt is acting like a node. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up program wherein I will start working with your browser. Okay, so registered a node, marking the node, cannot reach the node for 2 try. Okay, the hub is down, so not a problem, so we can run it again. Session cleaner initialized with inside browser timeout and clean out. Okay, every polling period, no worry, let it run. So now what we are going to do is next we are going to set up how your program will be written. Okay, so here are the steps wherein you can start working with it. Your configuration of your hub, so you simply specify the role to the Selenium server jar and you specify the port here, like you have got it, the 4444 which we have taken, so you can specify that port itself, and then whatever port you have used, so use the command netstat-a to get the detailed network status information. So this you can use and you can check. So it works on all possible operating systems like your Unix, your Mac, your OS, your Linux, everything, so you can do that. All right, so now what we are going to do is we are going to write a small program. Okay, so this is how you test your scripts. One important thing that you'll have to do is you have to set the desired capabilities in order to work with it. Okay, what are these desired capabilities? So these are the extra information that we are going to provide for our browsers in order to work, right? For example, say we are going to set the browser name, we are going to set the platform that it is working on, right, and which browser we are going to use. So all these things we are going to set, the extra additional information that we are going to provide, right? So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new package. Okay, let me create a new package. So I'm going to call it as parallel execution. Okay, so package already exists, I'll just mark it as grid. Okay, so let me create a new class within this. I'm going to take a new class. So what am I going to name this class as? I'll say launch browser. Okay, so this is what I'm going to say. I'll pick this up, your public static void main. So now in order to launch any browser, I told you that we have to set up your desired capability. So before that, let me take this, the drivers that we want first. So I all have the driver set here, I have the jars here, but that is already set, will be set to your grid, right? So now what we are going to do is we are going to work with your drivers and your web drivers. So public static web driver is equal to null, right? And then I'm going to take the URL of the node and I'm going to run it. So how do I take? I just take a variable public static string node URL, right? For now I'm going to mark it as null. So this is done. So now what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to provide the URL for this, right? What is the URL that I'm going to take up? The URL that I'm going to take it up is, so here, so this is the URL wherein the node has been registered. So this is the URL that I'm going to take, 5555. So that is the port that is open for your node, right? So let me take this. Yes, so it is now getting registered. It is now registered. It is ready to use. Let me start working with it. But before that, there's one more point that I'll have to add. So in order to work with your Selenium, okay, to see how your Selenium nodes are configured. So if you go to this localhost 4444/grid/control, so sorry, console. So if you go here, so you will be able to see what are the different browsers that is present on your node. So my node is this machine, right? So I have this Mozilla Firefox browser, I have your Internet Explorer browser, and I also have your Chrome browser. So if everything works fine and if you're able to connect to that particular, what to say, node, I mean hub, okay, so this is what will be displayed on your console, right? So localhost 4444, there is a colon in between, localhost 4444/grid/console. So this is nothing but your port that is enabled, okay? This is important, you should know this. So if it doesn't work, then you'll have only this view config wherein you will be able to see the configuration. So if it works fine, only then that particular information on the browsers would display. All right, so now what we are going to start is we are going to write this. So but before that, let me copy this IP address from your hub, right? So this is the one. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it here. So node URL is equal to, so I'm going to give the node URL, which is your HTTP // whatever colon we have, and we are going to say wd/hub. So this is going to be your hub, right? So whatever node or hub you have, so that node URL I'm going to pass. So now once after this, what am I supposed to give? I'm supposed to create your desired capabilities. I'm going to set the desired capability. So I say desired capabilities cap is equal to, so I give desired capabilities dot Chrome. So because I'll be working with your Chrome browser, so you can give your Firefox browser as well. So whichever browser you want. Now I'm going to set the browser name. I'm going to set the platform that I'm working on. So I say cap dot what it is, set browser name. So here I'm going to give the browser name. What is the browser that I'm going to work with? I'm going to work with your Chrome, right? So the next one is I'm going to give your platform, right? I'm going to set platform, which means what is the platform? The platform is nothing but your operating system. So which is the platform that I'm going to work with? So here I would say platform. So here you have to always take this platform from org openqa.selenium dot, which is the platform that I'm using. I'm using your Windows. So you can specify the version as well, Win 10, Win 8, whichever you want. But here I've specified Windows. So whichever Windows version you're using, it is going to fetch this up. So what I've done, I have set the browser name, I have set the browser capability. Now I'm going to launch the browser. So how do I launch the browser? I say driver is equal to new remote driver. So here I'm going to say the remote driver. Okay, and I'm going to provide the capabilities and also the remote address. Okay, so what is the remote address that we have? We have the node URL. So what I say, new URL, I'm going to pass the URL and then I say node URL, right? So this is what we have. So node URL we are giving, and let me import this URL from your java.net, right? So and the desired capabilities that I'm setting is what? Yeah, okay, correct. So this is what I'm going to do in order to launch my browser. So this is going to throw exception. So let me use this under your try and catch block. Okay, so try and I'm going to catch. What am I going to catch? I'm going to catch the exception that it is going to throw. The exception it is going to throw is malformed URL. So if the URL is not correct, then it is going to throw a malformed URL exception. So that is what I'm going to catch, right? I'm just going to print the trace of whatever exception we have got. Now we have launched the browser. Now what we are going to do, we are going to maximize it. You can delete cookies, you can delete timeouts, or whatever you want. So let me manage this. So let me maximize the browser first. Manage.window dot maximize, right? So I've maximized the window. I can delete the cookies, manage dot delete all cookies. You can delete all the cookies, or you can delete only one cookie. So these cookies are the temporary files that get generated, okay, when you're working with your browsers, right? You might have come across when you're clearing your history, it would ask you to delete your cookies as well, right? So that is what we are going to delete it here as well. And then let me set timeouts if you want. So driver dot manage dot what it is, timeouts dot implicitly wait. So you can give the timeouts. So here I'm going to give what, time unit dot second, so whatever you want. Right now you can start navigating to any URL you want. I say driver dot get, right? So what is the URL that we are going to? www.edureka.com. so whatever you want, or co.in, whatever you want, right? Whichever driver you want, you can start working. Okay, so now what we are going to do, so yes, it is registered, it is okay. Let me check for my node. No node, it's registered. Okay, it keeps checking every now and then, so we don't have to worry. So here let us check what we have done. So what we have done, we have set the desired capabilities. So here it is Firefox, you can take whichever you want. So here is an example. So what we are going to do, we are going to set the node URL, we are going to set the capabilities which is required by our machine in order to work with it, and then we are going to launch the driver based on the URL, right? And then we delete cookies, we maximize it, we go with your implicitly wait, and then we navigate to your URL. So this is what you are going to perform, right? So let me show you how my program would work. Okay, so let me run this. So if you run, if your node is working fine, so yeah, if the node is working fine, then it is going to, so the path to the driver executable must be set by the Chrome dot, okay, so it is asking for your driver executable, right? So we need the driver executable as well in order to launch this. Okay, for this we are going to set, okay, you can add your system.set property, so wherever the, what to say, the driver executable is kept on your machine, and you can start using. So here is how system.set property, if you see here, okay, so this, yeah, so it is registering and unregistering, right? So if I go here, so can you see this? As soon as you run your system, okay, as soon as you run your script on your node, you will be able to capture that it has run on this node. How? It is like this. Can you see here? So there will be an information that is provided. Okay, let me show you that. Register. Yes, can you see here? Executing new session capabilities, browser name is equal to Chrome, and version is equal to whatever, and platform end equal to Windows, which means this particular command has come from where? This particular command has come from your program, right? Wherein you set your, wherein you write your scripts and wherein you start executing it, right? So again, you will be able to capture the exceptions as well. Here, if you see, you have your exception, right? The exception message. So this is the normal exception that we get, the illegal state exception, when we have not set up the driver executable path, right? So if you set this up, it is going to work for you. So here the path to the driver executable must be set by this WebDriver Chrome.driver system property, and you can start working with it. So let me set it up. Okay, so system.set property. So where it is, here it is. So I'm going to give the key and I'm going to give the value. So here what I'm going to set, so I say WebDriver dot driver, sorry, Chrome dot driver, and the path that you have to give is wherever you have kept your drivers, right? On that particular machine, that is your node machine, wherever you have kept your Chrome driver.exe file, you can give that and you can start working with it. Okay, so if you work likewise, then it is going to help you work with it. Okay, so now again I'm going to run this program, so which will be captured here. Let me run this. So let me go back to this. So here, as soon as it runs, it is going to capture the information that you have triggered something, and you will be able to work with it. Okay, so cleaning up stale test it is. So did I run this code? Yeah. So I've run this code. It is going to work if at all your property has not been set, and if it has not, it is not the right path, then it is again going to throw an exception. Else it is going to work fine. So this is basically how we are going to work with your grid. Okay. So what do you mean by a grid? A grid is nothing but a bundle which helps you to perform your. So this means it is working fine, right? So it has started working fine. We'll see how we can just a glimpse or summary of how we are going to work with. Okay. So now, so let me take this. So now what we did with your grid, so we configured the hub and we have configured the node. So how do we configure the hub? Now our Selenium grid is a bundle of your Selenium server standalone. So wherein if we download it, the grid is also a part of it, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to use a command prompt wherein we are going to make a system as a node, and we are going to set the command, which is java-jar, and you provide the path of your Selenium grid and give the role and say what it is. So it is going to be a hub. Correct. So that once after you've set your hub, once after you get that your hub is up and running, you're going to configure your node system. So here by just copying the path of it. So if you go here, so where is it? The path of your hub is this one, wherein you can start giving this particular command in order to register your new nodes, right? So if you give this particular command on your nodes, your node would get registered successfully from a different machine, and you can start working with it, right? So once the node is registered, you can use the node URL and you can start working with this, right? So this is the node URL for them, and here is the node URL for me, right? So the 5555 which I have taken, and this is 104. So this is the node URL. So we are going to run likewise. So once this is run, what we are going to set, we are going to set the desired capabilities wherein which is required for your browser to launch and which is required for your browser to run your scripts, right? So once it runs the scripts, so it is going to, if it is a TestNG framework, it is going to provide you the reports. Else there's no information that we are printing, so it does not do anything, right? So what we have done, we have just created a script wherein we are going to launch the remote browser, okay, on the node URL, wherein you can't even see where that node is, right, physically. Okay, so then you're going to work with it. So this is about your grid, and wherein you can perform your parallel execution or your cross browser testing, right, on different platforms and different browser, right? So next, what we are going to discuss is about your Selenium IDE. So what is this IDE? Why do we use this IDE? So this IDE, when your Selenium started, what they thought is they wanted a automation tool which will help them work with reduce their manual efforts, right? So they came up with something called as Selenium IDE, Integrated Environment, Development Environment, which is just a plugin for your Mozilla Firefox browser. Okay, so this Mozilla Firefox browser, so what you have to do is you have to just install this plugin. Okay, so first of all you need a Mozilla Firefox. Now the latest version of Mozilla Firefox will not support most of the IDEs, most of the plugins in order to work with your Selenium. So I suggest you go with your Mozilla Firefox version which is below 56. Okay, so if you want to see the version of your Firefox, you can take this. So go to this menu and then click on this about Open Help and click on your About Firefox. So I have taken the version to be 56. Okay, so you can take the 56th version and below. Okay, so that would work. So in order to install your plugin, what we are going to do is we are going to go to this add-ons options. Okay, so whatever is there already, just forget it. Then here you're searching for your add-on. You say Selenium ID, just say Selenium IDE. It would search for the add-ons. Can you see here Selenium IDE button? So just one simple toolbar button to open your your IDE, you need to install this. Okay, so you say install. So once you install, you might have to restart your browser. So just restart your browser. So this is a easy to use Firefox plugin wherein you can create and edit your test cases, you can create a test suite, you can record and play back the test, and you can also convert the test cases into different languages. Okay, so this is the basic usage of your Selenium IDE. So once this is done, if you go to your browser, so let us check this. So here we'll be able to see this, your add-ons, go back and go to extensions. See this Selenium IDE is added. So it says legacy because it does not compatible with the latest version of it. Okay, so what we can do is you can go with the lower version and then you can start working with it. Okay, so I'll go to this customize, just give me a minute. So here I have the Selenium IDE button. All I want to do is this button, I want to keep it here, okay, somewhere here, so that I don't have to go to this go to this particular tools and features and launch it from there. Instead I can directly get it here, right? So that is what I wanted to do. So I have just done that. What did I just do? Where did it go? Let me close this, wait. So yeah, I've got it here, right? So now all I have to do is just click on this particular IDE. Okay, so once you click on this, so open IDE as a pop-up. So yeah, so before this, let us install this IDE. Where do we get this IDE? You have to go to this seleniumhq.org. Okay, if you go here, so just go for this downloads. Okay, once you go for this downloads, you will have your IDE present here. Okay, so Selenium standalone server, you can directly search for your IDEs. Can you see here? Download latest to released version from this one. Okay, so navigate to the Selenium IDE page and you can just click on add to Firefox. So now it is going to add it. Okay, so yes. So restart now. So that button we have installed, and along with which we have also installed your Selenium IDE plugin. So now once you have installed, what you're going to do is you're going to work with your IDE. So here now it has been installed. I go here, open it as a pop-up. So once you open it as a pop-up, can you see this IDE which has come up? So this is the environment where you start writing your test cases. So what are the important, what are the features of this IDE is, so as soon as you start, okay, as soon as you launch this, there is a record button here. So this is a record button. It will start recording by default. Okay, and there are multiple options where if you go to your file, you can start creating a new test case, a test suite. Okay, you can also import already created ones. Okay, you can edit, wherein you can you have a new command to add, or you can add a new you can insert a new comment, you can insert a new command, and you can perform some operations like your recording, your pausing, your resuming, and you can play the entire test suite, your entire test case, so however you want, and you can set it a periodic execution as well, right? So apart from that, see, you have multiple options, but there's one disadvantage of your IDE. It was a major disadvantage of your IDE. So I'll tell you what is the major disadvantage. Before that, we'll understand how to work with your IDE, right? So now what we are going to do is, so we are going to just capture one of your test case. Okay, then what we are going to do, we are going to see how to run it, how your commands get generated, how we pause it, and how to rerun it, right? So once after that is done, we are going to see why we came out with something new. Though we have your IDE, right? Though we have your IDE, why people opted for an advanced version. So now, so once we have installed your IDE, what we are going to do is we are just going to click on this IDE in order to open it as a pop-up. So now what it is going to do, once after you have launched your IDE, this will by default open like in the recording mode itself. So as soon as you launch it, your recording button would have been kept on, right? So if you see here, it says now recording, click to stop recording. So now you can start performing some operations on your particular browser. So this browser, so what I'll do is I'm going to search for something on seleniumhq.org. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. Now what I'll do is from your home page, I'm going to click on this project. Okay, so from this projects, after this, again, I'm going to click on this download. Okay, and from this download, I might navigate to some wiki page. Here, I'm going to click on this wiki page. So what you can observe as soon as you do some operation is, can you see here? All the actions that you have performed has been captured, right? All the operations have been captured. So now you can stop your script. Okay, so once you stop your script, what you can do is you can run this script. So how do you run it? You just click on this, right click, and then say play test suite from here. So it is going to perform all the operations that you would have done. So can you see here? It is navigating to whichever pages you had navigated before, right? So likewise, you can test it n number of times. How many times you want, you can test it. So it will still run the same, right? So now this is a recording and playing back option of your IDE, right? So how do we save our test case? So what you have to do is just go to this file, say save test case. Okay, so here in any location, for example, say I'm going to create a new folder wherever I want. Okay, so say I'm going to create a new folder here. So new folder, I say IDE scripts. Okay, I'm going to create a folder by name IDE scripts. So the destination folder IDE scripts is already there. So let me take this as name. Let me give another name to this. So IDE scripts. Okay, I've created one. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to save it here. So I say Selenium HQ test case 1. Okay, some name I'm going to give. Okay, so this is, if you see here, this is how it gets renamed, right? Your test case would get renamed. So if you have to record another test case, what you have to do is click on new, go to a new test case, just click on this new test case, and you can start recording it. So here what I'm going to do, once I start recording, I'm going to click on this edureka.co. So whichever browser you want, you can start working. So it would be captured. So once you have gone here, you will go for your courses. Okay, so can you see each and every step is going to get captured? So I'll click on this all courses. I'll go to this artificial intelligence. Okay, so once after that is done, I'm going to this machine learning without Mahout. So this is how I'm going to work, and then I will just click on this home page. Okay, I'll click on this Edureka icon, which will take me to the home page. So this is my second test script that I have captured. So here what I'll be doing, I'll be stopping it and I'm going to run this. So I can now run this test script, play test suite from here. So what it is going to do, it is going to perform all the app operations and the navigations that you were doing. So if you see, it is going to the course, and now it is going to click on your artificial intelligence. It is going to click on the next course, okay, if it's present. So wherever, see here, it is throwing some error, right? Why? Because so this particular element, so if you see here, as soon as you get this, okay, an error, there is something called as log, which is taken, right? You have something called as log. So in this log page, each and every test step would be shown. Okay, so here it says element css h3.course title not found, which means the locator that it has captured is not unique. So this is one of the challenge that you're going to face when you're working with your IDE as well, right? Your IDE will also fail in capturing the locators uniquely. And the second thing is, for example, say when you're working with your applications and when you're trying to log into the application, right? So you might log in with one username, like one credentials, you provide a username and password. So as soon as you log in and log out, if you have to run this test script multiple times, so can you just recollect what is the scenario that you would be performing? Logging in with only one username and password, irrespective of any number of times you run the script, right? So for example, I'm working on an application like wherein a real-time application wherein it is a HR portal, okay, an application which will help employees track their timesheet, right? So in such case, what HR does is he or she would go ahead and create multiple users, and they would be like they will give access to that user. So before that, we'll have to try to log in to check whether that user is able to enter log in to the application or not, then enter the time or not, right? So in that case, when you have to perform this multiple user logging in, so do you think your script would help you to work with it? No, right? And along with which, I told you in the very first class when we were talking about your locators, the more efficient or effective your locator is, the more efficient your code would work, your script would work, right? So in this case, so if you go to this reference for this particular error, so you can see an element locator. So click on a link button checkbox if the click action causes a new page to load. So call wait for page. But the problem is this element itself is not working. So that is the error that we are getting. So the element is not found at all, though we have it here, correct? So this is the problem with your Selenium IDE. Okay, so let's get back and see what we have discussed. So we have seen the features of your IDE. So the features of the IDE here is, so the first thing we have seen how the IDE captures. Now we are going to understand what are the features of your IDE and how your IDE would help us to understand, right? And also to work with it. So here if you go, okay, on your Selenium, IDE, you see these options like your file, right? You have options like your file, your edit, your actions options, help, a lot of things. Okay, so this we call it as the menu bar. So here in your file you have multiple options, say in order to create a new test case, in order to open a test case that you have already created, and in order to save test case, export, and create a new test suite. So all these operations are provided under your file, right? So when you go to your edit, you have cut, copy, paste option like a developer, right? So we have multiple options under your edit. You can insert a new command, you can insert a new comment. For example, say you want to insert a new command here. So you say insert new command and you can start inserting a command here. Can you see this bar which I've got? So you can insert a command here and you can work with. Okay, so likewise you're going to insert command, and then under your actions you can play the test suite or a test case, you can record. So there are multiple actions that you can perform. You can go slower, okay, with your test case. You can slowly execute one by one and check what actually is the problem. Okay, that is nothing but your debugging phase, right? Under your options, you have options like you can format, you can reset the IDE window, you can clear the history, and you can also test your script periodically, wherein you can set a time and you can start executing it every now and then. So under your help, you have your release notes, your documentation, your issue reporting, your searching of your issues. So all these things would be provided pertaining to your IDE itself. So the next one that we have is your toolbar. So if you see this tool, right? So these are the tools that you have got. So here you see the faster and the slower pace, right? How to execute your test script. So this is how you set, for example, you set it to slow, and if you start executing it, your test script, okay, then it is going to execute it slowly. It is not going to execute it fast. It is going to execute it slowly. So that is how it is going to work. So if you have to execute it fast, you can execute it fast. Okay, so apart from this, what you have is you also have this slow, okay, the play test entire test script. You can play only the test case, right? You can pause whenever you want. You can debug, like step in and step out, which we see in your programming. So this is nothing but your debugging. So when you go to your debug mode, you can go step by step and work. And this is nothing but your roll up rules. So you can provide some rules in order to work with your Selenium. Okay, and this is nothing but your test case pane. So this we call it as a test case pane, wherein the test scripts will be recorded. Okay, so this will record each and every actions you perform on a browser. So this is called as the test case pane. And the last one is your log or reference. Okay, so this log will capture each and every operation that has been captured when you run it. Okay, it is not when you capture it, but instead when you start running it, when you start running your test files, right? So that is when it is going to work. Okay, so another one in your what to say, your toolbar is your record button, wherein you can record, and along with which you have this toggle button wherein you can set your schedule. You can set your test scripts to run based on your time that you have provided, right? So this is about your Selenium IDE tool. Okay, and apart from that, we have something called as command. Okay, so if you see here in your script, okay, so you have something called as open, click and wait, click. Likewise, you have multiple commands here, right? So you say click and wait, and you have something called as open, and when you enter something, you have the keystroke, right? The keystrokes will also be captured. So that those are some the commands which is present in your ID. Okay, so these commands, the which are used in your Selenium IDE scripts, are known as your Celanese commands. Okay, so what do you mean by Celanese commands? It is a set of commands which are used to test your web application using your web ID, that is your Selenium IDE. Okay, so you can use the Celanese commands to test already existing UI, so based on their HTML tags. So how do we choose the tags and how do we work with them? We are going to work with them based on the locate. So if you see this particular element, right, so these are the locate, the target that it says. So link is equal to projects, link is equal to download, and if you go here, even here, so you will be able to see this, right? XPath is equal to CSS is equal to. So this is what it is going to capture. So what are these? These are nothing but the locators, which means the addresses of that particular element. So that is what it is going to capture. So here the Selenium commands are classified basically into three categories. What are they? One is the actions, one is the accessors, the other one is your assertion. So what are these actions? So commands which are basically used to change the state of an application. For example, if you perform a click or if you perform a click and wait, then what are they known as? So I say I'm performing this click operation or click action. So these are nothing but actions. So when action is performed on a page, the test will fail if the action is not successful. So like we saw in your Edureka, when we were not able to click on that particular course, right, this script was failing, wherein it was telling that the CSS is not, that element is not available. So these are the basic features of your action commands. So you can click on some link, you can select some options in the page, you can select a drop down page or do whatever. And examples of actions that we have provided are click and wait and also click, right? So then what are these accessors? So these accessors are nothing but if you are trying to store an element, right? When the commands that check the state of the application and stores the application state, right? So for example, say if the text is found on a page, then it is going to store true, else it is going to store false. So if it is going to check whether that element is present on a page. So again, then if the element is present, see what actually happens if you have to perform an operation. You need to get the control of it, right? So in order to get the control of it, you'll have to store it somewhere. If you recollect from the programs that we have done before, we say web element username is equal to, so we would find that element using a locator, correct? But your IDE, what it is going to do is it is going to internally store it, okay, in order to perform some operation. So that is known as your accessor, right? So once you store it, you will be able to, those elements will be ready to perform. So assertions are nothing but the verifications that we perform. So we have used your assert classes in your TestNG, right? So what do? We wait until the page gets loaded. You're going to wait until that element is present. A link is clickable, or the what to say, the element is captured, so whatever. So that is nothing but your assertions that you're going to perform in your IDE. So here it has three modes. One is the assert mode, the second one is the verify mode, and the third one is the wait for mode. So it says click and wait, right? So that click and wait will fall under this. So wait for that particular element or the particular action to be completed. And when you say verify, you're going to verify whether that element is present or not. So once after that, if you have to assert, for example, say you're asserting whether that particular page is loaded or not. So that is nothing but your assertion. So you have these examples of our assertions. You have verify text, wait for load a page to load, and assert text, right? So this is how you perform assertions use in order to identify it. So you have it here, verify text, go back and wait, verify text present or not, and it has the parameter that it takes are your locators, and it is going to capture the parameter value, right? For example, say if the value is login or welcome to my homepage or whatever value you're using, right, in order to work. So those are the patterns that it is going to capture, right? So here is the syntax for your Celanese command. So what your Celanese command take is, it takes two parameters, okay? So one is the value, actual parameter value, and the second one is your locate, okay? It is actually not required always. The parameters are always not required. So the parameter may be a locator, a text pattern for verifying or assertion, or a text pattern or a Selenium variable for entering a value in the input field, okay? So if you go with this command, so if you see these commands, it is so if you're verifying the text present, then the parameter it requires is the text that it has to assert it, right? So and if you have type, for example, say you're going to enter some value, then it is going, right? So that is what it is going to take. So again, the same with your addresses. So it is going to take the address, or if you have an address stored in a particular location, you get the locator, it is going to type in the address in that particular location. So this is how your Celanese command would work. All right. So apart from this, what we have seen is we have seen how to build a test case in your Selenium IDE. The major part is your recording and playing back. So when you start recording a test case, it will interact with your browser and it starts capturing each and every operation that you perform. Like you click on something, you enter the keys, you select something, right? All these operations that is performed on a web page will be captured, right? So that is nothing but your recording. So if you want to add any checkpoints or your verifications or your assertions case, right? So you would have created this test case. So here I've created it in your D drive. So I say IDE scripts. Okay, here I can use this IDE script. So if you want to view that, to see this XML file, can you see the way it has got captured here? So here I'll show it to you. So it is going to work like this. Okay, so it has captured everything here. So let me open the Chrome HTML document. So I'll open it with Chrome itself, right? So now can you see all the commands that is performing? So if you want to edit something, you can add a new test case. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to this edit. I'm going to click on your new insert command or click on new comment command or whatever, and then you can start editing it. You can add it, and that is about your Selenium IDE, right? So this is what we have learned in today's class. So to summarize, we have seen how to work with your grid, what is grid, why we use grid, and how to set up your grid on your node and also on your hub, right? And we have seen how to design the test scripts for the grid, and we have seen what is IDE, why we have used IDE, what is the disadvantage of using an IDE, and what are Celanese commands, how to record and play back a test case, how to capture multiple test cases or test scripts using your IDE. And we have also seen what are the parameters that your IDE would take, and also the verifications and assertions that we can perform using your IDE. So this is all about today's class. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop an email to us or get in contact with our support team. So they're always here to help us. And then, as I always request, so your feedback is very important for us. Be it your questions, your suggestions, your ratings, your survey, or your ideas, your likes, we are open for anything. So please spare a few minutes of your time and take up the feedback, which helps us to serve you better. All right. So I hope you guys have got a fair idea on what your grid and your IDE is. So please do practice the same whatever we have learned in today's class and get back to the next class, so that you will have the hands-on, you will have the continuation of what we are going to discuss in our next sessions. Okay, until our next session, see you, have a good day, bye bye.